All right, so let's wait for this show to go out. That's me 5 years ago. All right, so I'm here from Digital Workforce, that is robotic process automation leader in the Nordics. But this automation is like a really interesting topic, and everybody's talking about artificial intelligence and how it will destroy all the jobs and ultimately kill all the humans. And I mean, I've been investing in a lot of artificial intelligence startups, and something that artificial intelligence does really good today is perception. So actually perceiving the world around us. Here are some kind of world records. I don't even know if they are the most recent ones, but pretty much, you know, the algorithms and everything can kind of sense what is around us. Recognize faces, pictures, different type of things. The second thing that these algorithms are really good at, now you can click the video on, is learning. And some of you have seen the video probably because it's a classic, and those one of you who haven't seen it, you need to see it. So this is the classic Atari game, that is played by the Google's DeepMind algorithm, and it kind of teaches and learns itself how to get the kind of a big score in this. So it hasn't been told by anything else that you just need to maximize the score that you see on the screen. And pretty much you can see that after it has been playing for a while, it kind of becomes better than human. So this is an example of like a really simple job that you can get the AI to work. I mean, it's already like over 20 years ago when IBM Deep Blue kind of first beat the Czech kind of a world championship, and then a couple of years ago, DeepMind also won this kind of a Go world championship player. And this is like a fabulous. Typically, when people see this for the first time, they are pretty kind of astonished that, hey, can these algorithms really learn to be this good? And what is the role of humans in the future? If you think about anything that is kind of a repetitive task. I mean, it even figures out that in order to get the best score, you actually need to kind of create this hole, and it kind of destroys automatically the barriers. But then, now you can turn on the video, please. But then, if you look at the autonomy, so meaning when you take this kind of AI outside of this, like the really well-defined playground. This is from the DARPA, which is the US research facility for kind of advanced research. Oh, now there's nothing. And then they are organizing these robotics challenge kind of championships every year, which means basically that you have these autonomous robots that are told to basically walk on different surfaces or open the door and all that, which basically means that these robots and these algorithms, they need to learn autonomously what to do. And as you can see from the video, they are pretty far from like learning how to operate in a real life environment if we get the video working. There's somebody now really hectically playing around with it. So now there it goes. So you can see that these are the robots kind of programmed by the best artificial intelligence brains of the world. And they are not doing that well. I love the scene where they are trying to open the door. So this is pretty like, so trying to walk through the door or trying to walk on the sand, it's just kind of can't adjust himself. This is kind of a door opening. This is like trying to walk up the stairs, figuring out that, you know, what these are. And now you can figure out that, you know, the killer robots and all that, they are kind of pretty far away in a way that this artificial intelligence could actually be able to autonomously work in an environment that we have. This is my favorite, so it's trying to open this valve, I guess. So this is the limitation where we are today. Then the second really big thing is the reasoning. So actually trying to make sense out of what is around us. And some of you are probably familiar with this Microsoft AI bot called Tay, and then it took less than 24 hours for it to be totally racist, and they needed to shut it down. So it was a kind of experiment where people could interact with this real life persona, and the persona kind of learned everything and was not able to make any sense out of what, of course, all the mean people were writing to her or him. So this is the way how kind of I'm seeing the artificial intelligence currently. So in the 80s, we of course had a kind of a really spot-on solutions that were very good at establishing a certain task. They were hard-coded and everything. The current second wave is very good at perceiving and learning, but we can't really plan or do anything autonomously. And what is the real kind of a gold mine of all of this is going to be this advanced phase, which I'm kind of believing that will be the next 5 to 10 years. So AI, for example, today just can't do this sort of planning, right? I'm here in a conference and I'm kind of a hurry, I need to do this and that, and go to the grocery store and get my kids to the soccer training and then check these presentations. AI just can't do this type of planning currently because it's lacking the key things of autonomy and reasoning. All right, so then we get to the part number 2, which is the robotic process automation, which is a second type of looking at. I mean, for the banking and finance, I mean, all this AI stuff is great, but I would be very cautious on how to apply it because of these limitations that I said. It's good for the data analysis and data mining and all that. But if we talk about something that you can practically do today and that you actually should do, is some sort of automation. So here you have on the x-axis, you have by McKinsey how they kind of have categorized different jobs. And then on the y-axis, you have different industries. And you can see that in finance and banking, like 2/3 of the work is on those kind of big bubbles, which are data collection and data processing, which are also green and blue, which means that they can really be automated. So it's becoming strategic. It's like, logistics operator who doesn't run on-demand logistics if you kind of miss this boat. So what is the robotic process automation? It's the digital worker, and you can pretty much kind of think it as a human who sits in the front of the systems, and it's manipulating the systems exactly in the same way like a human would do, without any need to integrate into those back-end systems. And what our customers love in banking and healthcare is that when these guys go in and say that, hey, let's automate the processes, it's not going to be a systems integration IT project. And then here you can see the kind of a demo of it. So here's the process, here's the robot that is typing 20 data rows of contact data from Excel to a register. And then here's the traditional, like the human worker. And then of course the difference is huge, right? I mean, the robot is kind of a thought to, open up Excel, take one data row, open up another application, input it there. And it's not a surprise that, the person on the right kind of, it takes 9 minutes, and then here it takes like 30 seconds to do the system in the thing. So the code on the background looks like this. It's a configured system where you have a configured process. This is a very simple. It just gets a reference from a system, and it can be very more complicated. This is actually managing an expense report and then doing all the kind of things and moving data across the systems. It's obviously the repetitive tasks where you need to operate across the silos in the organization, operate across the different systems. I mean, legacy data migration without needing to go to the back-end integration, different type of expense claims, administrative tasks. That is really what the digital workers do. I already said that it's a kind of a strategic question how to get in here. Like the bank without automated processes will be like the logistics operator without on-demand logistics. The question is really, it's not only kind of the back-end stuff, but this is really contributing to the front end, to customer experience, the speed of the kind of how the requests are handled and all that. There's a lot of hearsay about robotic process automation. These are some of the things that I'm hearing. It's typically in a way that, hey, we can't find a business case for this, so we can't find a process for this. But the way how you should really approach this strategically is in a way that you kind of define the process. It doesn't need to be that 100-page document, but you have a systematic way. And maybe the most important part here is the opportunity pipeline, meaning that actually there are enough people, or there are people in the organization who are trained or who know how to spot the processes that can be automated by the robots. And it's always in a way when we go to the new organization that, hey, we don't kind of have those. But when the first process is done and the ROI is realized, there's all of a sudden like 100 processes that people want to automate. If there's nothing else that you don't remember, I mean, this is not an IT project. Robotic process automation is not an IT project. It's a configuration process of a single process into this system, and then you can really think it as a replacement of a human opening up different applications and working through them via that interface that is already existing there. These robots are either run locally on the servers within the organization, but mostly they are run from the cloud because it's just the easiest way to deploy the robots. And then finally you can manage them in a way that you can get the reports, what type of things have been done, for example, in a big data migration projects or kind of the data replication or expense claim management. So you can get pretty much onto your mobile phone the report how the robots are performing the work. So that was all that I had today. So if you have any questions, I'm of course more than happy to answer. And the first part of the presentation, I work it out with some of the smartest AI guys in Finland and in Europe. So the way how it was structured is, I would claim that it's pretty unique. So if you remember the kind of the 4 things in AI and what it can do and what it can't do, you are already like a better AI expert than 99.9% of people in the world. So if there's anything else, that's a key takeaway. And then from the second part, when you think about this process automation, you should just go and pick a process and then see how it works, because the entry barrier is very small. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Timo, for excellent presentation. Any questions from audience? Now we may take them to Timo, if any.
I'm sorry for the video glitches. I must claim that I'm not absolutely responsible on IT here. So.
Okay, sorry guys, I forgot that we are in Finland, so there will be no other questions. But so once more, very big hand.
All
Timo.
right, thank you.